Welcome back to Streaming Star. The Ellen DeGeneres Show is by no doubt one of the most famous talk shows in contemporary times. For a long time, it's been a source of entertainment for millions of people, but in 2020, a plethora of rumors about the show have started to resurface. Ellen has faced immense backlash on Twitter, and it has its repercussions. Here's everything you need to know about why The Ellen Show might be canceled. How did the tables start to turn? One of the reasons The Ellen Show stood out for many years was because despite its comical purposes, the show was structured around empathy and kindness. Ellen's interaction with her fans and guests seemed heartwarming as she would fulfill their dreams and gush about them in length. Ellen would always find the perfect balance between comedy and kindness. However, in 2019, Dakota Johnson was not amused anymore by Ellen's constant picking at her guests in the name of fun. She told Ellen that the last time she was on the show, Ellen gave her a lot of trouble for not being invited to the birthday party.
Your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Even though Dakota's mannerisms was very polite, it turned the tables for Ellen as her kind facade fell off and people started to realize that sometimes Ellen does bully her guests. Nikki Tutorial's unpleasant experience. Nikki Tutorial, also known as Nikki de Jager, is a famous Dutch beauty blogger on YouTube. After she came out as a trans person on her channel, Ellen invited her to the show. While the episode seems as usual as it gets, Nikki later complained about Ellen on a Dutch show and said that being on Ellen's set was not a very pleasant experience for her. Ellen didn't even have the courtesy to greet her guests before the show begins. Nikki explains how being on the show was an honor for her, but Ellen's cold and distant demeanor really crushed that compassionate image of hers in Nikki's mind. She also went into detail about the hostile environment on the set, which made her feel very unwelcomed. An affirmation and the Twitter thread. One thing led to another in March as the downfall of Ellen began. Late in March, Kevin T. Porter tweeted that Ellen is the meanest person alive. He further encouraged everyone to tell the most insane stories they've heard about Ellen, and much to everyone's surprise, about 2,000 people replied to their personal anecdotes where Ellen or her team was mean to them. The tweets were written by guests, fans, and former crew members. This erupted a fiery discourse as more and more people started to see the delusional impression they had about the show. Stories of racism, toxic workplace environment, sexual harassment, unfair treatment based on favoritism began to resurface on the internet, and it wrapped the show in its folds, bringing forth many consequences for the show, especially the dip in ratings. Crew members complained about racism. Once the discourse sparked, many former crew members came forward with many charges against the executive directors who enabled a toxic workplace environment. Some accusations consisted of racist behavior towards non-white crew members. This included the disparity in salaries of people working on the same level, with people of color getting paid less. On a polite request for an increase in the salary, she got told off by one of the senior executives, Ed Glavin. The request by the black employees for there to be training for all employees to learn diversity and working in an inclusive workplace was also turned down by the executives. Another person reported that one of the senior writers allegedly said that he only remembers the name of the white people. These accusations haven't been turned down, and from an objective point of view, one cannot deny that racism is pretty blatant behind the curtains in The Ellen Show. This has ticked off so many people, and can you honestly blame them? Toxic workplace environment. The delightful aura of The Ellen Show eventually came to its ultimate end as more and more people came forward to talk about their experiences. However, it's important to note that many people blame the three senior executive producers for cultivating an insufferable environment at work. They did wish that Ellen was more involved in management, which could have nipped the issue in the bud. There's no respect for individual talent, no paid holidays, and people are fired for the smallest of things like attending the funeral of a close family member. After getting intense heat for not giving their employees a certain number of paid holidays as it's their basic right, the management did the bare minimum and allowed only 5 days of paid holidays. Apart from that, former employees have allegedly reported that the directors don't mind firing people as it's a privilege for anyone to work at the show's set and they have an abundance of choices to pick from anyway. On top of that, current employees have also reported that management hasn't contacted them at all about their salaries once the show paused during the lockdown. This evoked a sense of empathy from the rest of the world as they decided to boycott Ellen's show completely for their atrocities. Insensitive quarantine jokes. 2020 has been a year of many sufferings for millions of people, and in that time, one would expect people in a position of power to act more compassionately, especially if that person has built their career based on kindness, such as Ellen DeGeneres. When she resumed her show again, it was from the living lounge in her mansion. Ellen joked about living in quarantine seems like living in a jail. Her exact words were, "It's mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone here is gay." People took big offense at this because the lives of those in prison are at extremely high risk due to the greater possibility of contracting COVID-19. This was the first episode of The Ellen Show after the accusations came out earlier this year, and her opening episode served as evidence as the whole lighthearted comedy is a face behind which Ellen and her team hides. Decreased ratings. After the backlash and Hollywood became determined to bring Ellen's downfall, there's no doubt that the ratings of the successfully long-running show have been affected significantly. The show has already been taken down in Australia for not picking up the ratings, which is surprising because Ellen's show was really popular there. It's been hard retaining the glamour now, but despite the team's hard work, according to a popular entertainment source, this season the show hit an all-time low of 1.5. Due to millions of people boycotting Ellen, the viewership itself has dropped by 14% in just a couple of months. With such poor ratings, one is always curious if the show will be entirely cancelled or not. Is the show being cancelled right away? There have been some rumors surfacing on the internet regarding Ellen's show, and that if it's being taken down completely from television. There's no doubt that it could be the repercussion for the claims made against Ellen and her team as it resulted in bad ratings. However, one must keep in mind that in the contemporary world, people's habits of consuming the mainstream media are altering, and people usually tend to not wait for a talk show to air anymore. With new reservations, in addition to millions of people boycotting the show, it seems inevitable for the show to come to a halt soon. But for now, the show's producer Andy Lassner has confirmed that nobody is going off the air. The question remains that will Ellen change her ways and apologize sincerely, or will we once again let the people with massive social media capital to get away with anything? As speculations arise from fans all over the world, there are eyes and ears perked up waiting to see if the show will be cancelled or not. But what do you guys think of this whole situation? Should Ellen indeed be given another chance, or has the damage been done to the point of no return? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, while also hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can catch up on more videos like this in the future. Until next time guys, take care and goodbye.